Dada, just remember to open the mic for the kirtan. For those who are online, the sound.
You're muted. Okay.
Yeah.
Namaskar. This is an experiment. Earlier this year, in January and February, I was in Brazil. And when I said that, I automatically waited for translation, and then I realized we're not doing that. Um, and I had a wonderful 2 months there. And while I was there, I talked a lot with a very good friend of mine, Gertie, who you can see on the screen. And we thought it would be really cool to do some a combined program, which we're calling the monk and the psychologist, because she's a psychologist, and we thought it'd be really interesting to give these sort of two perspectives on some different subjects. So that's what we're doing today for the first time. So you are our guinea pigs, because we've actually been invited to present this to a team at Microsoft next month. So we thought we'd better practice. So you are our guinea pigs, all right? And we would really welcome your feedback. We've got some feedback sheets because we want to do this, obviously, as well as possible for this for the company next month. But I'd like to start by introducing Jyoti, also known as Giuliani Liace, which interestingly enough means milk. And
Juliana Leite.
right. My pronunciation, sorry, it's terrible. but it needs milk, and she's a vegan. So, oh, the irony. And yeah, so she's a psychologist, as I said, and has been a Māori for about 10 years. And well, I'm trying to remember all the wonderful things. Oh, yeah. Also worked in HR and human relations with various companies, international companies. And spent 2 years as an LFT. And as a part of that, she was offering therapy to refugees in the Ukraine. So it's pretty hardcore kind of work. And also is the uh, repeated Kaushiki champion of South America, I think 4 times running. So, and also yoga teacher, has done yoga teacher training and somatic therapy training. So it's got a lot of wonderful skills. And this workshop, we came up with the name From Burnout to Brilliance, because there is a huge problem of burnout in the community generally, but in the professional world particularly. And we thought that would be something useful for organizations. And it was funny when I spoke to this woman from Microsoft, Shaili, and I showed her the different workshops that they offer to companies, and there are 4 of them that are very developed about creativity and artificial intelligence and team building and the power of hope. And I told her, we've got one new one, which we haven't even developed yet. And all we know is the title. And it's called From Burnout to Brilliance. And she said, I want that one. So we knew we had a good title. So this is the first time we're presenting this. We're doing it jointly. So we've got, obviously, Jyoti's in Brazil right now. Where are you, Jyoti?
Namaskar. I'm on a tiny green island called Ilha Bela, that the literal translation is beautiful island, is the island that I'm from in Brazil. And it's a beautiful tiny green island surrounded by the sea. And I wish I could be there with you all, but maybe one day.
Hopefully soon. And I just want to say, when I was in Brazil, I saw this quite a really inspiring group of young, new Māori leaders, and Jodie's one of them, and I think she's brilliant. So where you go, Jodie?
Thank you, Dada. So we're starting. We're sharing screen, or
Well, you're supposed to introduce me, like it's necessary.
oh, but we're not gonna do this with the
Well, we can, but then they won't be able to see us on screen.
okay.
Up to
Oh,
you. What do you
it's
want to
true.
do?
So yeah, so this fella that you're seeing for the first time ever in your life, well, he's a yoga monk, teacher for almost 50 years now. He's been teaching meditation and serving to the beautiful mission of Baba, of Sri Sri Murti. And he's also award-winning musician. And this is how I first heard about that. I'm gonna talk about that soon. So he's also an author of some very good books. And he's been working in the past years as a corporate speaker. So he did some lectures on Silicon Valley for very nice companies as Google, Apple, Meta, and all of that. And he's a dear friend of mine as well. So we met on 2022 when Dada, well, firstly, when I started to become a Margi 8 years ago, I discovered Dada's music and I love it. They're really beautiful and devotional. So yeah, okay, I was just a fan. And in 2022, we met when he came to Brazil on Sadhana Camp. That is the best retreat ever, organized by Devashish. That is probably there with you, maybe. I don't know.
Supposed to be, but he's not in the room.
Okay. So Sadhana Camp is a really beautiful retreat with a lot of Manovrata, a lot of sadhana, and Dada was the invited speaker for this event. And we met on 2022 on the regular retreat and afterwards the sadhana camp. So we start chatting and all of that. I say that I love your music and we started being friends. And so then I went to LFT and all of that in the past 2 years. And then Dada came to Brazil again last year. And this is where we kind of started to develop this project. So the monk and the psychologist, because we see as very important to moment in the society and in the world to combine the tools that we have to provide a more balanced state, a more balanced whole health for human beings. So this is what we're doing.
Thanks, Jyoti. Now we're going to disappear and they'll see our presentation and we're going to talk
Okay.
about that. Okay. Here we go. Right, yeah, I'm getting it.
Oh, it's echoing.
I think you need to turn off your sound. Right? Is that better? Hey, yes, that was me. Okay. Now you can only hear me through the microphone now. All right. So yeah, from burnout to brilliance, and yeah, we're going to be talking about nerve regulation and emotional repair because burnout can cause real damage, and how that process, if we can relax our nervous system and allow it to self-repair, how our natural creativity and brilliance will be free. It'll emerge by itself. We need to create the condition for that. And yeah, this time we're presenting this for Path of Bliss. Okay, that's our intro. You already heard all of that stuff. So some of you may be familiar with Arianna Huffington. Who's heard of Arianna Huffington? Okay, so she's very well known for founding the Huffington Post, a very important, somewhat progressive publication. And she's a real spokesperson for human well-being in the workplace. She's become a voice for that, a very important voice in the US. And she's here's what she's saying. It sounds almost clinical because it's or utilitarian, but what she's gotten good at is justifying or convincing organizations to invest in employee health. That's been a huge part of her work now. And so she frames it like that. She says, look, this is going to benefit your company. Of course, personally, I met her once. She's a really nice person. She's really concerned about human well-being, but she has to put this in business terms. And she said it like this. She said, when we unplug and recharge, we're more productive, more creative, and make better decisions. So it's the business case, which is very real. For some reason, it's not doing what I want it to do. Oh, okay. Okay, so this is our agenda. Yeah, do you want to speak to the second piece, Jyoti? Into your mic?
Yes.
Yeah, here you go.
So our agenda, what we're going to talk today, well, we've kind of presented ourselves. So the monk, this orange guy standing there, as you can see, and the psychologist, me. I'm not sure if you can see me, but at least this voice that you're hearing. So we're going to talk a little bit about the neuropsychology of burnout, explain a little bit of burnout and a little bit of what we have nowadays versus the deep repair, how to repair from burnout. And with that, we'll be talking about cultivating presence and how cultivating presence will help us to unlock our brilliance. And of course, we need to talk about meditation experience, and we're going to give you some takeaways, what to do next.
Okay, so this is your pet topic here.
Okay, so we're going to talk firstly about what is burnout, how it appears, and you can yes, how it appears and how to repair burnout, and explain a little bit about the nervous system, how it works, how to deal with that, and how to achieve this deep repair. So firstly, what is burnout? So burnout was recognized by the World Health Organization as an occupational disease in 2022. So yes, it's super recent, Is not that burnout is it just started in 2022, but it was recognized in 2022. And it's officially on the International Classification of Diseases. So it's basically the book that health workers use for having a code that you don't need to know so much about it, but just to explain. Every disease has a code. So anxiety has a code, depression has a code, and now burnout has a code, a definition, symptoms, cause, treatment, and all of that. So basically, burnout is a state of physical and mental exhaustion that is caused by chronic stress, and especially when we need to be um, exceeding the available resources that we have. So when we are overdoing for a long period of time without the repair. So, and the symptoms can be from physical to emotional, and it include exhaustion, lack of motivation, sleep disturbances, physical fatigue, irritability, anxiety, brain fog, and so many others that we're going to explain a little bit better in the next slides. Okay, but how burnout appears and how it happens. So burnout rarely appears overnight. It typically progresses through some recognizable stages that we're going to discuss a little bit now. So we have what we can say that is the honeymoon phase. Is where the things are light and with high productivity. So you start the day with high energy, you're optimistic, you're thinking about productivity, taking new challenges and being enthusiastic about it. So this is where things are still light. And then you'll be feeling a little bit more stress. So it's the onset of stress phase. So all this initial enthusiasm will fade and the daily tasks will start to feel a little bit heavy. Maybe you're going to experience some physical fatigue, some irritability, some anxiety, some first symptoms of continuous stress. And then we have the phase of chronic stress. So the stress will become persistent day after day. You start to be having it more frequently through the day, and you can experience some sleep disturbance, reduce the productivity, and some emotional strain. And with that, you can feel the difficulty on socialize with other people, or difficulty on being on a boredom, like bringing the phone to do everything that you need to do, or multitasking, doing many things at the same time without actually needing it. And then the actual burnout is the emotional exhaustion, is the peak of emotional exhaustion. So the motivation will vanish. You will feel maybe detached from work, maybe numb, cynical, hopeless. The symptoms can be various, and it can have some not really nice physical symptoms that is not nice for watch. Like some people can actually shut down. So the body can really activate not something nice to see. And then the next phase, that is the last one, is when left unchecked, when burnout is left unchecked, the symptoms can become embedded to your lifestyle as the new normal. So you're gonna have the stress on your daily life. You're gonna be multitasking on your daily life. You're gonna be rushing on the daily life, and this is gonna be like the new normal for you. So of course, this will impact your health, your mental health, your relationships, and the symptoms on this phase can be chronic fatigue and all of that we talked before, but also with the amount of stress accumulated, it can weak your immune system. So you can start psychosomatic some diseases and having gastrointestinal ailments and chronic cortisol high level, pain, brain fog, depersonalization, also the isolation and all the problems with relationships that I mentioned before, and some escapism as coping mechanisms as well. So, yeah, this is a nice image to express a little bit of what it's like to be on this state. Of course, you can be as the original picture of Beatles, so acting normal, just functioning, doing and everything. But internally, this is a little bit of what burnout feels like. Like really your energy drained, your motivation drained, your ability to socialize drained. So it's a little bit like that internally.
So we thought it would be good to, we thought it'd be good to just check up on ourselves and see if we are experiencing any of perhaps the initial symptoms or more developed symptoms of this problem, because it's very widespread in the society. It's an epidemic. And I think it would be good to reflect if, you know, if we need a bit of taking care of ourselves. So I'd like you to make pairs. So if you're sitting next to a human, which most of you are, turn to your human and you're going to talk to them and tell them if you're experiencing any of these. You have 2 minutes. Yeah.
And for those online, you can reflect if you ever
They're
experience
too
any of
loud
these
now. They're too
phases,
loud.
and you can share with us on the chat.
The chat.
Dada, unmute.
You know, if you ask, attention, please. You know, if you give Margie's a chance to tell a friend about their problems, there's a lot, all right? So I know you need more time to tell this whole story, but I just wanted to get a snapshot of this. So, oh, and look, Devashish has returned. You missed his moment of glory. You got all praised earlier and you weren't here.
That's why I wasn't here.
Okay. So,
Hi, Deva.
hey, Jyoti, you can't see her, but she's online.
Yeah, I'm waiting for you to.
You'll hear her in a minute. So they know each other very well in Brazil. So I'd just like to hear from a couple of people. Perhaps first online. Do you have any comments online there, Jyoti?
Yes. So Ashok is sharing, due to yoga practices for the past 63 years, it is easy for me to cope the minor burnouts every day and most of my life. And Andy is sharing, as someone with chronic illness, life is a constant dance of balance between fulfillment and productivity, and overdoing things and paying the price. Physical and mental symptoms, such as ones you're describing. Balance is crucial. Yes, definitely.
Thank you. Any other ones you want to share?
Nope.
Okay, so we'd like to hear 2 or 3 from the audience, but I want to hear from the other person, not from you, what your partner said.
Can you
I want to make sure you were listening to them.
We actually discussed how
Yeah.
a little bit of stress is important. My partner mentioned that pressure is important because that's how human beings develop. So we actually do need a little bit of stress. If everything is very easy going, then there's no development. I thought that was interesting.
No, thank you. That's a great point. We're actually going to go into that shortly. You want to share the mic? Yeah, please, Angela.
So my partner shared that she was racing to get here on time because she knew that this was a very important topic for her. And she's been experiencing these symptoms, and her network of mothers with young children are also experiencing it. And just the complete exhaustion, especially mid-afternoon, trying to keep up with all family responsibilities, work responsibilities. But being here at the retreat, having a bit more time to herself, being able to go for a run in the woods, she finds that all really rejuvenating.
Thank you, Lalita. That's really on point. One more? Nobody stressed? Okay. Okay. From Mickey or Vivek, please.
My partner shared.
Yeah.
My partner shared that she had chronic illness usually prevents her from overdoing, but there was a period where she had to take care of her mother, who was prone to falling all the time and eyes on her all the time. She had to have her eyes on her mom all the time, and that was really very demanding and stressful.
That's thanks for that. And this has given us some more insight into the sources of external external sources of burnout. It's not just work, it's responsibility for family members, whether they're older or younger. Thanks for that. Okay, would you like to continue, Jyoti?
Yes. So how we can move? Yeah, of course, we're talking about a disease that it can be mostly from work, but it's also, as Dada just said, by the excess of responsibility, excess of doing, excess of things that you'll be doing without the repair. So we're starting to discuss a little bit of the repair phase. And for that, I would like to ask, how can we regulate ourselves internally despite the environment? So even that we have all this environment that will give us stress and maybe work, maybe family, maybe all the things that we need to perform as human beings. But how can we be in an internal state of balance even through all of that? So in biology, we have this term that is the homeostasis. That is, homeostasis is the process where your organism will regulate itself internally to maintain the stability, the balance, the health, the optimal functioning despite the external environment. For example, when you run, you're heating your whole body. So your body will send you what? Sweat to regulate. So this is an example of homeostasis. So it's the process of the body for keeping this the internal environment stable. And we can think about the same when we're talking about maintaining our emotional homeostasis, our internal homeostasis. And for that, it would be interesting to talk about our nervous system and how to deal with that. So our autonomic nervous system is it is what controls all the body functions. So things that you can think, things that you not necessarily will think about, but things that will be happening internally, like your heart rate, your breathing, your blood pressure, your digestion, everything that you need for functioning. And it has two main branches that works like in a balance. I'm not there yet, but it's okay. So we have the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system.
I was wondering, I always thought that the opposite of sympathetic was the unsympathetic system.
Well, not so much, but so the sympathetic nervous system, it is what it prepares the body to deal with challenges. So it's the kind of the accelerator pedal for our body. So it's what your body is focused in terms of survival or action, so, things like that. So when we are in fight or flight mode, for example, but not necessarily, it can be things like what I'm doing right now. So giving a presentation, or when you need to do something like, okay, I need to run to catch a bus, or I need to take an exam, or directed stress, as someone said. So we need some directed stress, like exercising, physical activity is a directed stress. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in the previous slides. Or driving in a traffic, things that need your attention, or things that need your instant reflex. So avoiding something to fall on the floor or avoiding an accident to happen. So it's the system that is designed to be temporary. So you're not going to be in fight or flight mode all the time. But this is what basically will increase your heart rate, will demand from you a short, like a fast response. So you need to have a short neuron path, and maybe you're gonna be having adrenaline running through your blood. You're gonna need to decrease your digestion because you're gonna need your attention on something else, and maybe dilate your pupils. I don't know. I said this wrong in the
We were
previous.
debating the pronunciation of this.
Exactly. And then we have the parasympathetic nervous system that is what is gonna take for rest, for digest, for repair. So parasympathetic is like the brake pedal for our body. So it's the idea of it is to restore the balance after the stress. So when we're sleeping, we are using more this parasympathetic nervous system. When we are doing things that are more boring, more relaxing, so reading a book, meditation, yoga, walking in the nature, having a calm moment, taking a bath, relaxation moments, being with some friends, decompressing basically. So it is what will maintain the homeostasis, what will decrease the heart rate, what will demand maybe a longer response of your neurons, and oh, I did something with my screen, and will stimulate your digestion, and yeah. So with that. I would like to ask you, what do you think it can cause, or what do you think it can increase burnout nowadays? You can just raise your hand, share if you like.
What can increase burnout? What? What's the question? What's the
Yeah,
question?
frame the question again.
So, what can cause or what can increase the chances of burnout nowadays?
Are you talking about internal or external causes?
Burnout.
General.
Generally, okay. So what do you think?
I think that if we don't take time every day to do something that gives us a lot of joy, that will increase burnout.
They should use mic.
Where's the microphone?
Somebody.
Who has the mic? Yeah, can you pass that? Can you repeat that, please, Naraja? That was really a nice point.
So in my experience, if
It's not on.
it's not on,
Without it. Yeah.
So in my experience, if I do not do something that gives me joy every single day,
Mhm.
and that continues for some time, I will experience burnout. I have to do things in my life that give me joy.
Love it.
Love it.
You saying that gives me joy.
I think the political situation right now, when you have people in power who don't care about the people, that's just like a raises the. What got put into an.
We're losing, we've lost sound. Can you?
No, it's this one here. I think that's the.
There's a connection problem.
Testing, I think we're sort of, okay, maybe you have to.
Oh,
turn
yeah,
it
now I
this
can
way.
hear you. Don't move.
So,
The
We're listening. Yes.
battery problem.
Just speak real loud. That's,
I'll speak really loud.
thank you.
It's okay.
Might not work.
I start working, did it?
Okay.
You can borrow my mic.
Okay.
It's the battery problem.
Living in places in the world where the political leaders are not caring about the people they're taking care of is very stressful. And, personally, I just find when certain people are in power, you wake up every morning and never knowing what kind of executive order or what kind of Twitter X chat had gone out during the night that changed everything in the world.
Yes. That's very true, Didi. The levels of stress can increase for those who care the most.
Okay.
There's something more?
One more?
Now it should work, Mike.
Oh, now the mic should work. That's good, yes. Okay, let's go on, Randy. 30?
Oh, okay, I can go on?
Yep.
Okay. So, yeah, I think all of that is correct. But also, I would like to highlight on how much we are not used to boredom anymore. Uh,
Yeah,
boredom.
that was boredom.
Sorry?
It's okay, we got it. Carry on.
Okay, sorry if I misspell something. Anyway, we're not used to deal with with feeling bored anymore. So when I was a child, and I often comment this with my patients that they are at least 30 plus or something. So before we used to feel more bored. We used to have more not doing really something time. And nowadays, we're always having something to do. I remember when we had the very first dinosaur social media, and people used to post that they were feeling bored on social media. This is some of the posts that at least I used to see. People were feeling bored. People were having, okay, just sharing that they're bored. And now people are sharing everything, basically. And we have this constant access of everything at the same time. But we need to think about how we are dealing with our time. So, next slide.
And yeah.
So this is also a very interesting image because definitely is one of the things that can increase the level of stress, and of course it can increase burnout in society. We're always connected. We're always with doing something. We can be doing something always with our phones with us. We can be multitasking, like eating but having our phone, talking with friends but having our phones. If when before when we needed to know about something, when we needed to research about something, we needed to go to some library, open some big book, or when the internet started, we could research on Google and go to some websites and everything, but still there was more steps than just typing something and an AI will just tell you everything you need to know. And have you ever thought about how many people you talk every day and how it wouldn't be possible to do so if we didn't have this level of internet, technology, and all of that? So it's very easy to be on this flow of being constantly connected, constantly doing things at the same time. But we need to consciously interrupt that. We need to intervene on that. We need to make it stop. And it's really by being aware of our actions. Otherwise, we can be on a constant rush. It can happen even with us that has so many good practices that helps us on our daily life and our presence and our emotional balance and all of that. But I'm sure that all of us at some point caught ourselves stressed or running or doing something with the phone or not happy with how many hours or how the amount of things that you'll be doing on your phone or etc. It can happen to all of us. The next one. So this is a video that I would like to share. That is a.
I was studying it.
Oops. Okay.
Oh, there's a delay here. Hang on.
Okay. So the video basically shows us a little bit on how to intervene in a practical way because our body is very intelligent. When we're doing things on a rush, when we're doing too many things, it will understand that we need to be on this this fight or flight mode. It will say to us that, okay, there's an emergency happening, so I need to be constantly on alert, like being aware and prepare for something that can happen. But we can regulate that. But we need to be aware on how to slow down, how to tell our body that this is not an emergency, everything's fine. I'm just eating or I'm just doing something, but there's no such a thing as an emergency. You can play Dada.
Slow down.
It's
Keep going.
Down.
okay. I want to ask you to share with your partner, when you got your partners, what you do to slow down. And I kind of, this is why I liked your comment particularly, Ananda, is, if you don't do something joyful every day, then there's something missing. So what is that thing that you're passionate about that really helps you to slow down and feel relaxed and, as we see, find homeostasis again? So share that with your partners. You have 2 minutes. There you go. Just to make you relax.
And those online, please share in the chat.
Thank you all. Let's hear a couple of things that you love doing to decompress from the chat.
Okay. A lot of people like to sing here, and this includes me as well. So singing, playing old bhajans, dancing also is something that I think slows down. So meditate, uh, walk, take care of the garden, walk in nature, taking a pause to see the nature when I can, taking a deep breath whenever I feel that I'm rushing. And what about there, Dada?
Okay, let's have a couple from up there. Thanks, Niranjan, with the mic runner. You're a mic runner now. Many roles of Niranjan.
Asanas.
Oh yeah, Asana King.
Asanas. Guru mantra and
Oh.
Guru mantra.
Of course, Devashish say that.
Yeah, right.
No, it was his partner, not Devashish.
She's so
Oh,
clever.
sorry.
But yeah, I know Dyanesh's real one.
What is it?
Plants.
Yeah.
He goes in the garden all day.
Plants, nature.
Plants, nature,
Plant man.
reading, socializing,
Leave your phone out of hearing distance. Yes.
leave your phone out of hearing distance,
Good one.
monitor your screen time,
Mhm.
space for daydreaming.
Nice. Yeah, I write silly stories about animals.
Light in Shavasana.
Okay.
Love it.
What about watching the World Cup? Does that count?
Watching the World Cup. No.
Actually, it's very, very, very stressful. It's horrible.
I feel very stressed with this one.
Me too.
Josie watched the Brazil game. Brazil, it's a religion, right?
Oh yeah.
And she got stomach pain from her stress watching the Brazil game.
Well,
Yeah.
especially when they tie, if the two teams tie and then it's the, what is it called? Yeah, the penalty kick, that's horrible. I hate that.
Yes. It's
Okay.
exactly what happened.
Almost. Yeah.
So yeah, that's very nice to hear. Exactly. So the last Brazilian game was against Japan, and if we lose, we will be out of the World Cup. And it was a tough game. So we made the goal in the last minute. So I was really nervous with that.
Okay, so that's a perfect cue for cultivating presence.
So I love the comments, both from the chat and from the room. Sorry, I cannot see you on the room with Dada, but I think Devashish and Devashish's partners were talking about Madhuvidya, right?
Yeah.
Is that what I heard correctly?
Yes,
Oh, I
yes.
can see you now. That's so nice.
You can see Devashish.
Oh, that's so nice.
All of them. She can see all of you. Awesome. Okay, great.
Oh, now I can see you. That's really nice. So yeah, so with that, we would like to enter on the topic of cultivating presence. And cultivating presence is an habit, as every habit that we want to have, we need to cultivate it. We need to make it a habit. We need to water the plant. And then we're going to talk more about Dada? Yeah,
It takes about
about Ananda Marga
it takes like
practices.
3 seconds. I push the button and it takes about 3 seconds to zoom across the world and
Oh,
pop
okay,
up on your
sorry.
screen.
So we're gonna talk about also our sadhana and Ananda Marga practices because, well, Baba is perfect and he gave us everything. And how to unlock our creativity and how this will unlock our brilliance.
All right. Oh, one of my favorite pictures. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cute. I love this picture too. So, how to keep this homeostasis working? How to keep the internal balance? It's through cultivating presence. And how to cultivate presence? How can we cultivate presence? Through regularity. So, in Supreme Command, there's something that says that we need to do something twice a day, regularly, right? So we as sadhakas, we understand very much the importance of regularity, the importance of practicing every day. And regulating stress is just the same. We need to cultivate, we need to be regular about it, we need to be vigilant, we need to be aware of our thoughts. It's like when we are meditating, and sometimes our mind just, without we even noticing, we start thinking, and our mind is fading away. And then we just remember, we just create the habit of bringing it back, of going through the mantra, going to the practice. Okay, the next one. So when we are starting some habit, some new habit, before you start, it can feel just like that. Wow, it's something big. It's something huge. And then when you start doing, you're starting to feel more familiar with that. And after a while, it's gonna be even playful to develop this habit.
Oh, we already did this one. Hi. Okay. So I thank you, Jody. I'm doing the next part, and then we're going to conclude together. I was in a workshop with it was a corporate workshop with like PayPal or somebody, and the head of the team, the vice president of that team, they were a finance team dealing with taxes for like 100 different countries. So they had a super high stress job. And I had this 2-hour workshop, and at the end, he was skeptical. And he was Irish, I remember. He was very funny. He said, look, when I'm stressed, I go for a walk in the forest, and that does it for me. Why do I need to meditate? And luckily, Bala gave me some presence of mind, and I came up with what I later thought, oh, that was a good answer. So I told him, I said, look, I don't hate trees. You know, I walk in the forest like every day, just about. But it's not the same as meditation, and the effect is not the same. And it's like the difference between listening to music, which many of us also do every day, and it has a, if it's the music you like, it has a relaxing effect. But it's like the difference between that and learning to play an instrument, which improves each time you do it. And so a year later, it's a completely different experience. Whereas listening to the music is kind of the same. It's something that evolves. So meditation is something that you're growing. It's a skill that you're developing, and it transforms your inner world over time so that you have this, you don't need to go into the forest to feel that. You've got a kind of internal peaceful place. And I don't think you started meditating, but it got to think. So there's a bunch of practices in Ananda Marga that Viplava gave us to deal with this problem and before it becomes critical. And that, of course, is really the secret is to develop resilience so that we don't fall prey to this, increase or sort of accumulation of stress that leads to burnout. And,
Okay, you're back, Dada. I'm just not listening.
yeah, we lost the Zoom, sorry.
Okay, you're back now.
Well, not quite. We're working on it. You were back.
Now you can share the screen again.
Oh, do I need to rejoin?
Yes.
Are you joined?
I know I have to rejoin.
Maybe the Wi-Fi is still connected.
It's
You
not.
want me to share that?
Ranjit Nanda, will that help us?
Yes, you can share.
Can you share your screen?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So, while we're waiting, let's list. See how good you are. Let's list all the different practices we can think of that you think that Bob's given us that you think will help us to be more present and to relax our nervous system. Now, just nice and loud, one at a time. Kirtan, right, good one. Then
Laughter.
that's well, Baba said I want to see you all laughing. You're right, it's a prescription. I thought of that. And then
Asanas.
asanas, okay. You want to pass
Dhyan.
sorry?
Dhyan.
Dhyan, yeah.
Bath.
Half bath, nice one.
Bath.
Good one.
Kaushiki.
Oh, the world champion, reminds us.
I'm not the world champion.
Was it the universe or what?
We're gonna have to have a competition.
Yeah.
You're good. You want to be careful. Sorry, what? Do you have another one?
I think cold water bath.
Yeah, full bath, cold bath. Yeah,
Cold water bath.
yeah. That's really true, actually. Yeah. What
What is the-
practices that Baba given us that help to calm down, relax our nervous system, make us more present?
Okay.
16 points.
Yes.
That's cheating. There's so many. You have to name them all.
Sun bath.
Sun
bath.
Oh, nice.
Good one.
We get some good ones. Laughter, sun bath.
Packing, mud bath. That's Baba's.
Do we have are you able to share there? Are you sharing now? Is that coming on? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's coming on the screen now, yeah?
Yeah.
But you're controlling it then. I've lost count.
Yes. So we have that. Go on, Dada.
Okay, so you just list them all. We've already got them all. Everyone already came up with new ones, actually. We got laughter, we got sun bath, we got cold bath, we got half bath, all these things we didn't think of. There's more. Keep going, Jackie.
Something's not moving.
Oh, no? It's not changing, it's not progress, it's not advancing, no?
Nope.
That's annoying. Oh. Yeah, let go to full screen. Okay. Then let's go to the next slide.
So here, we would like to highlight activities like Kaushiki or physical activity, that they are some directed stress activity. So you give controlled, like you give some intentional stress to your body, but this is actually good. So it's not just activities from parasympathetic nervous system that will regulate us. It's also activities from what is happening on sympathetic nervous system as directed stress, intentional stress is what I mean. That can be also good for cultivating presence. Okay, here's some of everything that you said.
Okay. So I just want to, because we have many practices, but our core practice is meditation. So I want to focus on that for the last part. This is some famous picture from a Harvard study where they took an fMRI scan of somebody's brain, and they're from Harvard, so presumably it's a special brain. And this is 10 minutes before and after meditation. They found that the circulation in their brain reduced and the whole brain cooled down measurably, very, very measurably. And one of the interesting things about this study is this was a group of people who were not familiar with meditation. They'd just been practicing for a couple of months. They're very new to it. And it was quite a breakthrough discovery that they found that there was a measurable change even in beginners, consistently across the whole group. There's been a ton of research like this since then, but I like that image because it's so obvious. So I've got a question for you, and I just want to, I'm going to step out of, this is what they call breaking the fourth wall, okay? I'm going to just remind you that you are victims of my experiment, right? Guinea pigs. And so what I'm going to present next is going to be what I might show to, or what we might show to the corporate audience who are not familiar with meditation, or maybe only a few of them are. So some of it might seem elementary to you, but think of it as an example of how you can introduce this kind of content to people who are not familiar with it. So you might be, rather than learning the content, you're learning a way to present the content that maybe you weren't familiar with. All right? So yeah, how many thoughts did you think yesterday? Give me a number. 10,000, okay. Of course, it's a difficult, you've got to define where does a thought start and end before you can even start thinking about a number. But there's some number somebody told me the other day was 60,000 or something from some sort of research. It's a lot. I would say the correct answer is a lot. Now, the other possible correct answer is too many. Okay. Next question is, what percentage of them were beneficial?
What? Only one.
Okay, this one I want a number. You know, be honest. We've got 20. Oh, really? Very, very humble, Dada. Thank you.
3%.
3, okay, 5. Somebody once told me 50%, and I don't know whether they were delusional or saints. Okay, so
Does it matter? What are we saying?
of course, I don't know. I'm just giving you a silly question. All I want to do is get you to think about the difference between these numbers, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
How does Drew Vesperti affect that?
this is getting too sophisticated for our presentation to a bunch of burnt out Microsoft employees, sorry. I want to tell you about an experience I had I was in California. I went to this concert, and the saxophone player is a friend of mine. He's a wonderful, wonderful guy. He was the one who first started calling me the monk dude. His name's Premick Tubbs. He's an incredible musician. And they're all world-class jazz players. And so I was really looking forward to that. But I knew that they hadn't played together before. They'd recorded an album together, but it was all done remotely. So they'd all added parts separately. They'd never met one another until the day before. So Premick told me about it, and he said, we had lunch together, and he said, you know, we only met yesterday. We just rehearsed once, and we're going to see what happens. And there was about 400 people in this, you know, it was a launch of their album. And they started playing, and I was, I knew how good they were. But I was a bit worried when they started playing because something felt wrong. And I couldn't identify it. None of them were making mistakes. For people like this, it's more difficult to make a mistake than not to play properly. They're so good. It seemed perfect, but it didn't feel right. And that happened for a couple of songs, I think 3 songs. But then on the 4th song, something changed and suddenly it was magical. And the rest of the concert was amazing. It was one of the best concerts I've ever been to. And afterwards, I thought I knew what had happened, but I wanted to check. And I spoke with Premack and one of the others. And I talked about this, and they said, yeah, you got it exactly. They said, what was happening was we were nervous because we hadn't played together, not because we're not experienced musicians. And so the first 3 songs, we weren't thinking about what we were playing. We were thinking about what we were going to play next. And after 3 songs, one of us relaxed and then the other picked up on it, and suddenly we were all in the moment. And it completely changed the invisible part of the communication. And it's not just about the notes and the music, the sound, it's about how the musicians feel together. And there was this kind of collective energy, and it was transporting, and it was completely different. Though if you'd listened, I don't know how it would be different. You'd feel it if you heard the recording, but in the room you really felt it. So for me, that was about a kind of an illustration of flow state. And what it requires is to be present and not be thinking about something else. It's very simple and very difficult sometimes. I had a moment like that, kind of different. When I first started meditation, some of you know the one thing I didn't like about Ananda. Anybody remember? Told a few in this one. You remember, don't you, Jyoti? Yes. I liked everything, the whole 16 points. They taught it all to me in one day. And the one thing I didn't like was kirtan. Because I was, what can I say, a classical pianist with no small opinion of myself. And so I was learning this piece by Beethoven. It's the last part of his first sonata, piano sonata. And so I was meditating every day, an hour a day, an hour twice a day. I jumped right in. I was like really fanatical. Well, probably quite annoying to a lot of people. And one day I was practicing this piece, and something really strange happened to me. I felt this incredible ecstasy, and it was so powerful. And I felt, is this what Beethoven felt when he was writing the music? And it was, I'd never experienced anything like this before. I'd been playing the piano every day since I was 4, and I'd never experienced this before. And I knew it was something from the meditation. And that was when I really understood that meditation is a doorway to creativity and to experiencing the bliss and the ecstasy of creative flow. And that was a huge eye-opener for me. I love this quote from Einstein. It's a real quote. A lot of Einstein quotes are not real quotes. They're kind of made up. I think 99 times and get nothing. I let my mind float in silence, and the truth comes to me. So this was Einstein speaking about intuition and how he got access to this faculty, if you like, or this his own brilliance. And he spoke many times about how, I'm paraphrasing, but he said there's no rational way to discovering the fundamental laws of physics and physical reality. There's only the way of intuition. And he's not alone. There are many scientists. I've got a book full of scientists talking about intuition, like famous scientists, Nobel Prize winners. This is widely understood amongst people that make great discoveries, that intuition is what enables us to do this. And what we are practicing, as you know, is termed, Bauer calls it intuitional science. the sort of empirical science is, there's a convergence going on between research, empirical research, and what our own intuitive research, you could say, that through which the whole science of tantra was developed. And this is a really nice example. I use it a lot because there isn't very much research into creativity and intuition. But this is one of the outstanding studies from Holland, from the Netherlands. And this research scientist, she said certain meditation techniques can, I mean, she said a lot more, but the summary is that certain meditation techniques can promote creative thinking. I mean, I experienced that, I knew that, but it's really nice to have the backing of some studies. Now, the role of creativity, this is 15 years ago, this study. This was a huge study across the world. 3,500 companies the leaders were interviewed, and they were asked, what quality do you consider the most important in future leaders? And the consensus was creativity. Now the discussion is talking about AI and how it's making a lot of, or maybe making a lot of human skills less valuable because it can mimic them so effectively, though not as effectively as a lot of people imagine. But again, now creativity and intuition and a lot of very uniquely human qualities are suddenly becoming seen as incredibly valuable. And I think this is going to, it's already beginning to increase the interest in techniques that cultivate these qualities.
And what your friend said more recently about the most valuable skill for the next 50 years.
Oh yeah, that's Sahil, and I told her, many of you know him, Sahil. So he's a futurist, he's the holds the chair for future studies at UNESCO. And I was talking to him one time, and I asked him what's going to be the most valuable skill, human skill in the future, and he didn't hesitate. He said conflict resolution. And who was quoting was it Bertrand Russell? Somebody told me the other day, yesterday. It's a really similar quote. No, it wasn't him. It was Buckminster Fuller. Said something very similar. Yeah, we need to learn how to get along. And that's a very human skill.
Human evolution is.
That was it. Was you? Is it?
Buckminster Fuller said the next step in human evolution is learning to live together.
I love it. The next step, Buckminster Fuller, the next step in human in evolution is learning to live together. So this is a uniquely human skill that can be cultivated through spiritual practice. Yeah. So some keys to brilliance that I have no control here. I think that I'm doing this, and life is full of delusions. Thank you, Jyoti. I'm not actually seeing that screen now. This is what's
I am.
and you're doing perfectly. I am totally confused. Okay, so just to summarize the creativity and intuition, but please find off. Overthinking blocks imagination. Okay, so those musicians, they were thinking what they're going to play next instead of just playing. There are many examples. It happens with creative writing. Devashish could give us a big lecture about that. Creativity needs space. It needs space in time. It needs you to block off time when you only do that, and it doesn't get encroached on by busy things, right? You need to be able to sit there and stare at a blank wall or a tree or a flower and allow yourself to be bored if necessary. So I really am when I start.
What is the meaning exactly of what thinking means?
Of what
What thinking means what?
What thinking means. Overthinking. Yeah.
You're thinking too much.
Yeah. Thinking more than necessary.
Stress.
Junk thoughts.
Like is stress coming in the mind like that?
No, it can cause stress, but it's not the same thing as stress. Thinking 60,000 thoughts a day causes stress. Yeah.
Nothing. What you're doing now.
Yeah. That was a little harsh, but yeah. No, creativity needs space. Ideas arise during play. And again, I use musical metaphors all the time because that's my big part of my world. There's a reason we call it playing music. We don't call it working music. You don't call it working the guitar. Some people do, but that's weird. You're playing it, and that reflects the mood that induces ideas, imagination, creativity, play. It's fun. Children, I've seen some really neat research on
Can
children.
I can I just mention something?
Please.
There is some research that because you mentioned about children and how it's important to play, and we were talking about the shorter or the longer neuron path. So when we are learning something, we need to do the same neuron path many times for learning something new. And a kid many times learn so fast, so many things. So it's nice to learn something when you're a kid because it looks easier, but it's just simply because they're doing by playing. Some research says that when we are trying to create a new habit, it can take us 300 the neuron path to do the synapse, to do the pathway for us to learn a new skill or something like that. But when we do this playing, it can shorten to 30 times.
Wow.
So we learn so much faster when we are playing, when we are enjoying. And I love what did you say about doing things that brings me joy.
You know what? I just realized we have made the classic error of first time presentation, new presentation we have never done before, and that is running way over time. We're supposed to finish in 3 minutes. I only just noticed. I've been tracking it and then I got distracted. So what I'm going to do is stop the presentation. It's unfinished, okay? But I want you to have a chance to ask some questions of Jyoti and me. So Jyoti, can you stop sharing? I think you did already. No. And so they can see you and ask questions. And ask Jyoti, because you can ask me anytime I'm here, okay? And obviously, I wanted to introduce you to Jyoti because I think she kind of represents a new generation of Margis that bring me great hope. And yeah.
You want to give those papers out?
Yes, that's the next thing I'm going to do. And I would like to call
giving
them
program in the public level also? Jyoti?
Sorry?
Are you giving any programs in public level in the general market from other?
In August, we'll be doing a joint presentation to.
Because this presentation was good, but for the masses, for the general public, it will be also wonderful, this topic.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ananda.
Yeah, so okay, go ahead.
Can I ask Jyoti the first question?
Yes.
So excellent. Thank you both so very much. I really enjoyed it. And in Ananda Marga, we're encouraged to get up at 4:45 for Panchajanya. And sleep is part of repair. So, what are your thoughts about that? And some acharyas tell us that we only need 4 hours of sleep.
Oh,
So what are your thoughts on that?
You're gonna get me in trouble. Well, I think, this on the view of psychology and what it's good for our brain and neuropsychology, I think it's always good if we can sleep early on being able to wake up early for Panchajanya. So maybe I'll pronounce it wrong, but our circadian cycle, our inner cycle that is aligned with the nature is like, okay, sun's slowing down, so we are starting to relax. It's nice to slow down, so having a little bit of hygiene for going to sleep. And then we're supposed to naturally wake up when the sun starts to appear or a little before that. So I would say that what I do personally is if I have the chance to go to sleep early on being able to wake up for Panchajanya is the best solution. If this is not possible, I think it's important to find a balance.
Thank you.
Very diplomatic. Yes.
Can I see you guys?
Can you make it happen? Okay, more questions for either of us?
How do we contact Jude if we need to for any questions?
Are you willing to Jyoti's very busy, so I'm hesitant to talk to me. I'll ask her if she's willing to, because she really is. She gets a lot of people asking, because people go to her with their problems because she's a therapist. So I don't want Jyoti to be the one who needs therapy because we.
What was the question?
She wants to be able to contact you to ask you questions, and I want to protect you from being overwhelmed with lots of too many people contacting you.
We don't have
No.
enough evaluation sheets.
Oh, really? Oh, that's a
We made 30.
Very nice. Very small.
this is a last minute thing.
There
Other
were
questions?
30 of them.
So anyone who's got a question now, rather than wanting to ask Jyoti later, now is your chance.
And then if someone next to you does not have a pen, we run out of pens, if you can share your pen, please.
It was mentioned like the neural damage from burnout and then sort of deep healing from that. And then the answer to that was the Ananda mark practices. But is there anything beyond that, either psychologically or otherwise, that's normal for this, for deep healing?
Yeah, when we talk about burnout, it's not necessarily the amount of things that you are doing, because this is different from each person, but it's exactly that, the lack of repair. So when you go through a burnout episode, the most important thing is to cultivate the habit of having this deep repair. So it's through resting, sleeping, taking pause, doing things that you love, the passion and everything that we mentioned here. But of course, what we would like to highlight, and of course, this was a adapted presentation because you are all Margis, so we can talk the same language. But what we're gonna bring to corporate is the idea of how meditation it's something that enable us to have this deep repair. So meditation is one of the very few things that develops the ability of neuroplasticity on the brain. That is basically this ability on having this deep repair, this transformation, this change. So everything is on this level of repair. So doing new things, rediscovering your hobbies, rediscovering what makes you happy, slowing down, being intentional on taking pause, being intentional, like we saw on the video. When we're doing things on a rush, you need to really be intentional. Like the same that we're before taking an action, we take Guru Mantra. Like before taking an action, or when we see that we are about to take an action, to remember to slow down. And I love how Madhurvidya is a very great tool for creating presence, and is a very great tool that we have because Baba gave us a lot on how to cultivate presence.
I want to add something to that. Already finished, Jyoti?
Mm-hmm.
So in our conversations about this, we've also talked about how we shouldn't discount the role of therapy when needed. Because especially if it gets to some sort of crisis point, I think it's really important to talk to a good therapist. And I've experienced that myself. It's been incredibly helpful.
Yes, absolutely. When we talk about stress management, or that you really went through some episode of stress or an episode of burnout, it's crucial to have a qualified professional to not just listen to you, but also to help you on how to navigate on that. Because basically, when you enter on this constant mode of living in automatic mode, just rushing, doing things, multitasking, doing things at the same time, and everything all of these things that we mentioned, that I hope you were listening well. I don't know, I wasn't seeing you, and I know it was like not seeing me, so I hope the presentation was okay. But all of these habits of doing things automatically and all of that, you need to basically learn how to start living your life again. And this is not easy because you kind of had to teach to yourself that this is okay, that this is normal to live like that. So now you need to unlearn. And of course, it's hard to unlearn or learn new things or change habits. So going to therapy and having a good psychologist guiding you on that is super important. And I know that we are highlighting here a lot about meditation, a lot about sadhana, and a lot about Ananda Marga practices because, well, at least I'm very proud on everything that Baba gave us. But a therapy is just a nice way for accelerating some sanskaras that you might have to burn. So the same that you look for a daughter, you look for a doctor for something that you need to check on your health. You look for different professionals for so many things. So therapy and psychology, it's something that can just help you on navigating through your own sanskaras.
Yeah. And you mentioned earlier that, burnout is different. It doesn't seem to be working. For everyone, I'm just wondering how this looks like for younger people. I don't know if it's even present, if it's even true. I mean, yeah, young people.
Yes, I think for young people, it's very much likely to be, the image of people being sucked by the phone that we shared. For young people, especially, it can be very much like that because the level of how much the Generation Z and the young generations are using screens and all of that, it's been really damageful for the new generation. So it's the first time ever that the IQ is decreasing instead of increasing. And we have a lot of diagnose of ADHD and many different things that sometimes they are just they are making a confusion. It's not necessarily ADHD. Sometimes it's just overusing screen, overusing the phone and technology and all of that. So we see that the younger generation sometimes they're isolating themselves. They're not socializing so much with friends. They are doing everything in one click away, one scroll away, like through the phone, through the computer, and all of that. Um, Before we used to have so many cartoons. Like when I was a kid, the cartoons that I used to watch, they were pretty much static. So it was one scene, then another scene, and all of that. Nowadays, the cartoons, they're almost psychedelic. So there's a lot of information and there's a lot of things for the new generation that we as adults taking care of kids, it's very important to be aware of.
I'd like to say something in regards to
Introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Dada Moksheshwar Ananda using Dada Vitashokananda's phone. This quality of sleep, we need to watch the deep sleep, theta wave deep sleep. I may be sleeping 8 hours, but if 2 hours before waking up, I have some sort of thoughts of what I'm gonna do the day and kind of swing in and out of some kind of mediocre sleep that is not really sleep. So nowadays there are a lot of techniques how to induce a deep sleep more supported by the parasympathetic system. And I think in 4 hours, if we are really efficient, we
Yeah.
can get enough sleep. And also it's related to all these symptoms like memory loss and Alzheimer and all that. And we are kind of not aware of it. And I think it would be helpful for us to do a study on really how to get deep quality sleep.
Yes.
That's my point. Yeah, thanks.
Absolutely.
Techniques for that deep sleep, Dada. Did you give specific techniques?
Me, Dada?
This would be a separate topic, but like one of those would be taking a warm bath an hour and a half before sleeping.
Yes.
There are others, of course, preparing oneself and
Not eating too late at night.
exactly. That's, I think, the first one. Yeah.
I think for us, it is so much more familiar for all of us. And when Baba says that sadhakas only need 4 hours, is because with the routine that we have or that we're supposed to have, we're supposed to have to be doing a good sleep hygiene. So this is something that we talk when we're talking about mental health and all of that. We talk about sleep hygiene. So it's basically preparing yourself for going to sleep. So using low lights, not being so much on the screen and all of that. But when we think about Ananda Marga practices, if we're doing our sadhana, our evening sadhana, we are doing sleep hygiene already. If we're eating early and having time for digestion, we are doing some sleep hygiene already. So I think when we talk about the quality of sleep, we have all these practices that they are very good, and also like these ones that Dada mentioned, like taking a warm bath, something that will relax your body, not having so much stimulus or some difficult conversation before going to sleep, or even the things that you eat, if it's something light, or the quality of something that you eat. I have a friend that he's a nutritionist, and he says that eating a kiwi at night is very good, and it really helps you on sleep
Don't
well.
say this. I'm a kiwi.
The fruit,
The
please.
kiwi fruit. Thank you, Jyoti. And we really have to finish because otherwise we're all
Yeah.
supposed to be having a half bath and doing kirtan, all the things we're talking about.
Absolutely.
So I just want to thank you so much, Jyoti, for joining us and everybody for participating so much. And yeah, anything you want to say? Last thing, Jyoti?
I would like to thank you, Dada. I'm very happy with everything that we're doing. So as we say to you guys,